you go into a toilet, go to the toilet, wash your hands, and then open the door.
I mean, there's an argument that you should be protecting your penis from your hands.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So I think the way that offices should be managed is in the Pomodoro, the rhythm. So the 5 breaks and then a 15, 5 breaks, then lunch. So everyone should just, at the start of the day, set out, like, these are the tasks I'm going to do. Once I've done them, I can go home. You should be punished if you are either under-providing tasks or not completing the tasks you've set, and rewarded if you're more productive than other people. Because otherwise, like, what is anybody doing?
Philips sunrise lamp, it's got a very, very low light way of displaying the time at night. And I know this sounds so finicky, but you don't realise just how much light like a normal LCD clock will actually give off.
So
like if it's a fucking red one, and you're like, this is brighter than it is during the day. Like if it's all red, you feel like you're in a Tom Clancy movie. And then someone's gonna like Rainbow Six your door in and like come in with a fucking laser gun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is Life Hacks 107 with Jonathan Watson and Yusuf from propanefitness.com.
You never say boys and girls. You always just say ladies
and gentlemen.
It's 18 plus only. Must be 18 plus to follow.
Fair enough.
This is an adult program for adult people. So Life Hacks, it's been ages since we've done a Life Hacks.
It has.
Welcome back. It's been like, this is the first one of 2019 as well.
I spoke to someone today on the phone who said they loved Life Hacks, and I told him we're recording the next one today, and he was like, I cannot wait.
It's consistently the best performing in terms of, I think it's just so actionable. Anyway, first things first, today's episode is brought to you by The Protein Works. If you have a life hack that you want us to try, pop it in the comments below on YouTube. If you are just listening, head to the YouTube channel, search Modern Wisdom Podcast, Life Hacks 107, and put your favourite life hack in the comments below. The best life hack we will trial before the next Life Hacks and do a review on it. And we're going to pick £150 worth of Protein Works products that we'll send to you for free. Thank you very much to the Protein Works for sponsoring this episode. And I really hope that the best one that gets chosen isn't something weird that we have to do. But it might be.
I think they should be allowed to say specifically something they want Yusuf to do.
Okay. If you would like, okay, we can have that as a little stipulation
like
as well.
It can either be an all,
yep,
to all, or to Yusuf.
Fine, yeah. But pop your life hacks in the comments below.
Online bullying here.
And if anyone picks anything terrible and we do it and it wins, you're getting £150 worth of unflavoured hydrolyzed whey.
Because the only criteria is we pick the supplements.
Yeah, that's it.
So be careful what you're picking.
Pick something good for us. But yes, pop your favourite life hack in the comments below. Like I say, if you're listening, there is a link to the YouTube channel in the show notes. Head there, give us a comment, and yeah, we'll pick someone.
I should say, by the way, hydrolyzed whey, although it's a very rapidly absorbed protein, hydrolysis is digestion, and so it tastes of vomit. And when I say, it's not like, mate, it tastes of vomit, it's horrible. It actually tastes of vomit.
It is what vomit tastes like.
Yeah.
It's the same flavour.
Fine. Right, who is going to go first? Do you want me to hot potato you, Johnny? Or?
Well, you always do.
Yeah, Johnny, go on.
We did a podcast the other day with a guy who I didn't really know much about, who had a lot of qualifications. And
loads of letters.
We just opened with, Johnny, do you want to do the introduction? I'm like, fucking hell. Like, he got the guy on the podcast. So, my first life hack is get a dog.
Nice.
So, I mean, the thing is, to me and my social circle, it's like not many people I know have dogs. There'll be people listening to this who've like had a dog for 5 years.
Fuck you on about, mate. Yeah.
Fuck you, mate. Like, I got a dog first. Like, don't be trying to get one over on me with your dog.
But you are the first in this circle of
getting a dog.
Yeah, you got in there.
So it does just up level the amount of time you smile and laugh.
That's great.
Which I think is worth. I mean, they're expensive.
I've seen innumerable benefits for you in having Dexter. I've seen a few downsides as well.
There are definitely downsides. Yeah. So this week he's been unwell, which has meant I've had to sleep on the sofa, which has been...
Why?
Because he was waking up to shit 2-3 times in the night.
Okay.
So
I'm being sick.
I'm being sick, so it's more convenient to...
Just be there.
Literally, yeah. I'm just like, I'll just limit my downside.
It's a really big commitment. It's like the tester for having a kid. Right?
So exactly.
So how are you finding it? Because that would be, for me, especially for me as well, and any other only children that are listening will know the degree of independence and non-fuckery that you give about the rest of the world, because it's just you, solo, single dick out swinging it round. How has it been having to not only be responsible for another life, but also think very carefully about what someone else's needs are?
It's difficult.
Is it? Really?
Well, so like you say, so it went from, it was just me and my girlfriend living together, and you just have a life that you don't even think about, like the little things in your routine, and suddenly this thing that's like requires constant management and can't, like, doesn't have a bank account, doesn't have a car, he can't do anything himself, can't feed himself. I have to do everything for him. And even when he wants to go out to have a piss or a shit, like either he does it in the house or I have to say, right, it's now time for your toilet time, let's go do something about it. So yeah, that, and also it's made me real. I've been thinking this week actually. So like there was a night when both Becca and I were sleeping on the sofa, and it's like we like scrunched on the sofa, and it's 3 a.m. and Dexter wakes up and he's like barking, needs to go out. And you
hang on, you're both sleeping on the sofa. You're two. I mean, respect to Becca, but she's a long girl.
Yeah, I know.
And you are a long, wide human.
Yep.
How big's this sofa?
Not big. Like, not big enough.
Is the dog on the sofa?
No, the dog's on the floor.
I think that you're taking liberties with your furniture here, mate.
Okay.
Like, I think
there are wide. So it's a bit like this, where there's a wide bum cushion for the sofa.
It is this shape. I should.
I mean, do you sleep at a right angle?
So one of us sleeps that way. One of us sleeps that way.
Do you?
Yeah.
Feet to feet.
Head to
Feet to
head.
head.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It just feels natural.
Okay.
What would you?
Feet to head is the worst combination, I think.
Okay.
This has blown. This whole situation has blown me away.
Well, okay. So anyway, that's not the story. So
sounds like
that's what we've been doing. And so, but you wake up at 3 a.m, and like neither of you wants to wake up and do it, but you've got to navigate that. And so, like, that's quite testing on a relationship. So I can only imagine, like, that's like a week of 6 months we've had him. Or not that, like, however long I've had him.
And I suppose a dog's lifespan, they grow more rapidly.
Yeah. So that period of time dissipates very quickly. Maybe like, I don't know, what is it, like 2 years when you have a kid? Of having to wake up in the middle of the night and stuff like that?
Maybe a bit less, I think, based on...
It almost feels like you should, if you think about having a kid, you should be made to have a dog first.
Yeah.
And then, like, if your relationship lasts that and it goes well, then...
So, good prep for having a kid, improve the amount of laughs and smiles in your house. It's got you out of the house more as well.
It's the outdoor thing for me would be a huge one.
So steps. Consistently 10,000. Consistently.
10,000 is a lot of steps as well.
So there is in Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about, I want to say it's strategic choices or crucial choices with a downstream implication. I can't remember the specific term that he uses, but he talks about single purchase or single decisions which have multiple downstream benefits. And the first one, and this book is like the fucking Bible for habit setting. Not read something that's so implementable in a long time.
Very good.
And then the top one is, if your area that you're looking to improve on is happiness, buy a dog.
Just get a dog. Yeah.
Like, I mean, if James fucking Clear says it. Yeah.
Well, so it does definitely, like, it is a lifestyle increase, but there's just a cost with that increase. So,
but hugely asymmetric, I'm going to guess.
Yeah. But things like, so the stuff I thought it would knack, and related to this, is stuff like, I'll never get a ROMWOD again. Like, I'll never, my mornings will be trash.
Did you do it with you?
So this morning he actually did do it with me. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, but
is he good at puppy dog? I bet.
So he's fucking obviously brilliant at puppy dog. Like, he owns that.
Yeah, that's his pose.
Because downward dog, weirdly, he doesn't do proper downward dog because he's a puppy.
Right.
So he does a proper, and he gets his head all the way through, and I'm like, fuck. So like, I'm really, my lats are so tight.
Yeah.
But
Daniel, if you are listening, Daniel, voice of Rom, can we have Dogwad, please?
Dogwad would be good. Split screen.
Fucking mint.
That would be good. They do dog yoga, I think. Fuck knows what that involves, but
fair enough.
But so actually, I have to do all that stuff. So I have to meditate, ROMWOD, whatever, before a certain time, before he needs to be out. So it's actually created like just an unavoidable, I can't get out of it, like that's not negotiable.
So you've Parkinson law time boxed your morning routine.
Yeah.
But I suppose the one problem is that if you have a very naughty dog or one that's chaotic with its sleeping routine, if it gets up at 5 one day, 7 the next, 8 the next.
Yeah. Dogs thrive off routine. So if you keep a dog in a routine, especially when it's a puppy, and you create the routine for the dog, so interestingly...
So you've actually had a benefit from routinizing your life because of the dog.
Around the dog.
That's great.
So if you, like a lot of people who have a dog and work 9 to 5 and come home at lunch or whatever, if they then work from home in the morning, they'll find the dog just sleeps all morning because that's what it's been used to doing.
Yeah.
And it plays in the evening or whatever. So quite expensive. More expensive than I thought it was going to be.
Insurance, dog food.
The things add up. The other thing that is really annoying is the way that vets pricing works. So you'll be in the vets with the dog and they'll go, we're just going to run test. And as you leave, the receptionist goes, that'll be £120. You're like, what? What do you mean? Like, no one mentioned, like, I can't refund it because it's happened.
Yeah.
So either I'm in debt to you.
He's put the AirPods in your pocket and you've walked out of the store and someone's come running out waving a receipt.
So is that upsells or is that you've been sold stuff without realising you've agreed to it?
Yeah. Well, it's like, so in the same way, so imagine you go to a doctor and you're like, my stomach hurts, and they do test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4. And then as you leave, you get charged for all those tests.
You say, well, hang on, I only want test 1.
But at no point did the doctor say, I'm going to do this. It's going to be...
They don't say which is mandatory and which is...
It's just like, it could be a spectrum of problems. I'll test for all of them, bill you for all of them.
Cheers, mate. You put them in an MRI.
But they need to make money.
Yeah, surely you can just do... I suppose that's what the American system is. Like, you come in with a sore finger and they will do like a CT head and they'll...
Really?
They'll just fully...
So Jen and Ed...
I'd rather that though, I think.
Really?
Well, because then the incentives are aligned.
You'd rather the doctor like irradiates you head to toe and like
as long as there's rationale behind it.
PR exam.
Like obviously, if you're taking the piss, then that's different.
I see.
But if the incentive is,
but what's to stop them taking the piss?
Their time, I suppose, and also are they financially incentive.
So they're getting paid for the time. They're like, I've got a patient in. I'll just
I think I'm okay. I'd rather they took the piss that direction than the other.
What than just being like?
Like I'd rather a doctor just gets me out of the room because the 10 minutes are up. I'd rather that didn't happen, and instead I'm sent for the full. I've got a full blood panel, and
okay.
So buy a dog.
See,
how do we go into that? Oh, the vet.
What about you? First life.
So just on the back of that as well, if you don't want to commit to a dog, or if you can't afford the long term cost of a dog, borrowmydoggy.com. Excellent website where I think it's £12 a year, and you basically select dogs within your, like Tinder for dogs, I suppose. So like you look at dogs within your range, within your locality. Radius.
Choose the gender. Choose the age.
Can you?
Yeah.
Choose a breed.
Choose the type of dog. People have little dog profile photos, and you just borrow someone's dog if they're going away or if they're...
Has anyone uploaded a photo of a dog with the dog filter from Snapchat on it? Because I would choose that dog.
Definitely.
Dog square.
That
dog's going to have a good time, isn't it? Yeah.
Is that where we got the Whippet that had psychomotor retardation from?
That was a friend, but I have borrowed other dogs from Borrow My Doggy, and they were much better.
Okay.
They didn't have the psychomotor retardation.
I do think that getting a dog when your life is like, if you're out of the house a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So
this is the reason I've grown up with dogs, and I'm sure like a lot of people, especially young people that are listening, will think like, fuck, I grew up with dogs, I love dogs to bits.
Yeah.
And it makes me emotionally writhe when I see dogs. I just want to be around them.
Yeah.
But because I have so much respect for them, and I know based on my mum and dad's treatment of our dogs, what level of activity and care dogs should have, and they can have, I'm like, I'm not going to take this dog. Mm-hmm. Like a perfect example.
It's a good point, actually. It's a disservice to the dog if you're out of the house all the time.
It's just shit. Because the dog doesn't have the choice. It can't go and complain to someone. Like it can't go complain to its superiors. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like the proof's in the pudding. Our Rob, our border collie, is nearly 16.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's what happens when you get walked 3 times a day and you have a militarized food and wake routine.
Yeah.
Right, life hack.
So my life hack, I've got mine divided into physical and digital. So my first physical life hack is, this was a suggestion actually from a guy called Dan. Dan, this was fantastic, he's given me 3, is if you have a accident in the car or an altercation or a road rage situation, so like someone starts getting out of the car, coming towards you.
Get your phone out and film them.
Instantly diffuses the situation, or because what that does is shows a mirror to them. They're knocking at your window, trying to like aggravate you, and they're like, "Hang on."
Someone's saying I'm going to be a meme here.
Yeah, they just see themselves and they're like, "Oh man, what was that?" The guy who you're the like BBC man who he was a presenter.
Oh yeah, and he got out of the car. And
Was it not the cyclist?
angry.
You're going to jail, and I'll tell you what, you are too. What was he saying?
I know who you mean. It's like a David Attenborough type guy.
Oh,
He like lost his shit on a motorway.
I've seen the one where there's a cyclist coming along and the guy's in the car and he's being super, super angry and very, very threatening. Then gets out of the car and the cyclist starts cycling away and the guy runs along, tries to kick him.
That's poetry, that video. Yeah.
Video guy Dean will put the slow-mo.
Didn't you show me was it Vice or someone
This is
like
a full
dissected the video like frame by frame?
So there's a bit in it where he's talking to him and he's like, "Are you a tank? No. Are you a car? No. You're a cyclist. So get off the one side of the road. Do you pay road tax? No." And then he's like, and then I saw the most beautiful phrase in the English language that I've ever witnessed. It blasts well past cellar door and any of these kind of T.S. Eliot things. It is the phrase, "Put your fucking mouth shut." You're like, because what this man has done is there is a distinct U-turn in the middle of the sentence when he realises that he's gone with the wrong phrase, but then he pauses for a moment and then thinks, "I'm just going to commit to it." It's so beautiful. Oh,
it's the kick. So it's the kick, the slight overextension as it needs kicks the terminal extension there, and then it's like tries to put it down, so it stops, double, and then
properly
stacks it on
pivots
the
on his head.
Face and shoulder into ground, isn't it? Yeah, it's unbelievable. Right, okay, so
I'm going to find it while I'm doing
so
this.
film, and that's I suppose
Get your phone out
anytime
during-
there's a fight, just film.
Just start filming, and so it's the BBC Road.
Citizens arrest! Put your hands on the car!
That's it.
The police
Yes, that's it. He's like, "Put your hands on the car and prepare to die."
I do remember that. He's in the car park somewhere, isn't he?
Right, so you've got a great YouTube channel, the starting of a great YouTube channel, or you've diffused the fight.
Yeah,
there's no downside.
Yeah,
That plus dash cam.
million views.
Yeah.
Right, so my first one is using scissors in the kitchen for everything you use a knife for.
Oh, yeah. Great life hack.
Yeah, okay.
So
Cheese.
straight off the bat, like if you are still cutting chicken with a knife, like give up.
Yeah.
Like buy a fairly okay pair of kitchen scissors. Need to be quite sharp, and you never need to use because chicken is out. Chicken is on your hands, both hands usually. You're holding it. You might chop your finger. Then you've got like salmonella in your wound, and
Nothing worse.
yeah, salmonella wound. Whereas you can have single hand over the pot, chopping your chicken into little dicey strips or whatever it is. The same goes for vegetables. The same goes for pizza. Like pizza with a pair of scissors. Like just people are trying. Do you know, like when the astronauts went to space and they were like, "There's no gravity in space. We need to come up with a pen that'll write upside down." It's like, it's a pencil. Like, yes, mate. Fucking go back to
the Americans invested in money in the space pen, and the Russians just used a pencil.
Just to see X-ray vision through all
You used to be able to buy the space pen. It was like you use it underwater and upside down.
Yeah,
It was like, we'll use pencil.
I mean, it's amazing that's sold so well. I guess people just want
It's
a
a novelty,
cool
isn't
pen.
it? Yeah.
I remember like JML or QVC or someone being like, "It can write on walls and it writes upside down."
Yeah.
Like, no, fuck off, mate. I'll just have a pencil, please. Thank you. I'll have a HB3. Thanks.
Do you remember Boys Stuff, the website? That used to be a
No.
big...
Is that like Firebox?
They used to sell like BB guns and
Yeah, like Firebox.
Yeah, they were all over that kind of thing.
But yeah, scissors. I mean, is there anything that you guys use scissors for that's like...
Yeah, like you're right, kitchen stuff, because that chicken, how long does it take to try and cut chicken up? You can just go, and then you can get more accuracy, less injury risk.
Less mess. The other thing as well is, and I always think this about when I go to the bathroom, and it's an odd habit of mine, but when I go to the bathroom, I only use left hand. Like if it's a number 1, I'm just left hand. Like I've grown up doing things with my right hand, holding stuff in clubs, holding a clipboard, holding a phone, doing whatever. Does that mean that I only need to wash one hand? Because I don't, but I feel like I waste it. However, when I'm in the kitchen and I'm cutting chicken, I've only touched chicken with one hand, but I still wash both.
You're very Arab. So it's an Arab cultural thing to only do unsanitary things with the left hand.
That's why you shake hands with the right?
Yeah. So like in Arab culture, if you touch someone with your left hand, I don't know, if you like try and shake hands with your left hand, yeah.
Isn't it something like the germs you actually get from touching your penis, having a wee, and are smaller than like what you get from a bowl of nuts on a bar and shit like that?
Oh, the bowl of nuts on the bar is an absolute like ecosystem of.
But even like that, even so the irony of like you go into a toilet, go to the toilet, wash your hands, and then open the door.
Yeah, there's an argument that you should be protecting your penis from your hands.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah,
like there's more stuff that can go wrong into the penis
than can stay on hands.
Yeah.
But
this is a serious matter.
Yeah, because I've heard inklings of this, so I thought I knew you had something to say. Because it does seem to me, the number of times I'm standing in a public toilet and I will see someone have a piss and then leave without washing their hands. You think like, don't be such a fucking 9-year-old.
At least do one.
Like, 9-year-old. How busy is your life that you don't have time to wash your hands?
Do you know what is I will make this argument. It is painful if you're mid gym set and you're chalky and you've got optimal level of chalk on your hands, but you need to wee and you're like, oh god, to get back to this degree of dryness and chalkiness is like it's a 4-minute job.
Washing your hands can mean missing the next set.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's all grip gone. Yeah. Doesn't matter what barbell you use.
I'm actually going to do a doubler because this one's pretty much the same.
Okay.
Using a plastic bottle to get the yolk out of eggs.
With like the squeezy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen that before?
That's a very YouTube life.
Suck it up.
Yeah. Have you tried it?
So I found weirdly that the best thing for dealing with egg is eggshell. So
scoop.
If you crack an egg into a pan,
yeah,
and there's a bit of shell,
yeah,
the best thing to get that out,
yeah,
is eggshell.
Okay. Fair enough.
And also crack the egg, and I just do
tip it between the two.
Yeah, tip between the two.
So I mean, if obviously that doesn't.
You just going pop, and then it's to stay in the bottle.
Unbelievable, man. You wouldn't.
Can you do multiple?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you can imagine you've cracked the egg. Obviously, the one time this doesn't work is if you're frying and you're cracking it into a pan, because once it starts cooking, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But so you need to crack it into wherever it is that you're putting it. Squeeze the bottle. Just allow the tip to touch the top of it.
Just
like release it. And it sucks back up.
And then what happens with egg number 2?
It keeps on. It just doesn't. It doesn't allow it
back
then
up. On the second egg. When you squeeze, does it not squeeze some of yolk 1 onto yolk 2? Get it. Got it.
There you go. So there you go. Scissors and
you look like you're about to say something.
No, it's alright.
Johnny, what have we got next?
Gusto or HelloFresh.
Okay.
That's it.
Drove past a man carrying a Gusto box on the way here.
Are they both the same? They're like Blue Apron in America.
They're pretty similar, yeah.
Right.
So I would say Gusto's better based on having tried both.
How do you spell that?
Gousto.
Cool.
So my diet, probably the same for both of you. Extremely bland. I know you both doing the slow cooker shit, aren't you? So it's maybe a bit better than mine. But extremely bland. Eat the same things every day. When Becca and I eat together, it's the same shit every time. So and we both have like I'd quite like to learn to cook. I'd quite like to do a bit more cooking, and you even buy a recipe book. But like the barrier of like you open it, you're like 1 clove of garlic, 1 bit of ginger, and you're like, fuck off. Like, who just has like ginger in the house? Maybe you do. I don't know. Who has like exactly the right amount of curry powder?
I've got a big bag of blocks of frozen ginger and frozen garlic that I just chuck one in the slow cooker.
Okay.
Which is lovely. That's a very
okay.
Because Tesco do like a sachet of like crushed garlic, but it's
really expensive.
It's tiny. It's very expensive. If you go to like the Indian section, even in like a Morrison's or Indian supermarket, you get a kilogram bag of garlic blocks or ginger blocks, and it's such good.
So I'm actually amazed at how many recipes have ginger in them.
Really,
So many more than you'd expect.
it's a great flavour.
And even just like sauces that you just take for granted, what actually goes into making that, you're like, fucking hell. It's like 15 minutes of just chopping and dicing just to make a sauce. But anyway, so
Pestle and mortar.
you get a selection of things you can pick from at the start of the week. You pick the recipes that you like the most. They deliver exactly the right ingredients for that with recipe cards to
So does
prepare.
it machine learn? Like what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it
that's
does.
cool.
That's fucking
Okay.
great.
So like this is for me.
I love how that's the thing we've got excited about.
This for me is like I made chicken korma from scratch. Like I've had different types of curry that I'd never had before because you can just remove the nuts from the preparation.
I bet that's
I guess that's
massive.
just a way for you. This is a convoluted way for you to ensure that there's no nuts in your food.
Well, it is, yeah, it is, and also
Because I always feel bad for you that you can't have Indian food because of the
Because of
written
that,
potential.
Well, we can't go to Chow Praya, which is a crying shame because
Yeah.
you'd love it.
yeah, I'm sure I would.
It'd kill both of us.
Yeah, it would.
Chris would have the time of his life.
I'd be great.
Yeah.
You'd have had oysters and be dead, and you'd have had nuts and be dead.
But so anyone who it works best for like 2 or 3 or 4 people.
Okay.
But if you
so I'm
are,
fucked then.
well, you could still do
I
it.
think with the portion sizes Chris eats.
Yeah, you actually.
Like we've seen
they're
Chris
not
put
big-
away
they're
a
not
pot
big
of yogurt
portions.
in a saurine in about 23
And he just
seconds.
dips the saurine in the yogurt, and the yogurt's not like it's not a petit falou. It's a share yogurt, like a kilo tub of yogurt.
Carbs are good. man.
Like the meals are on average 600 to 800 calories
per serving.
per serving,
Yeah.
and then normally 2 servings. So you could
Chris
definitely,
laughs in the face of
Yeah,
800 calories.
really good. Like the stuff that I've eaten over the past 3 weeks for dinner, I would never like.
What would you can you pick if someone's going to go, because I'm going to guess there'll be a referral. Have you got a referral code? Bet you do.
I do, yeah.
Fantastic. Referral code will be below. I'm going to guess you'll get 1 free meal. Like
This
when
will be
you
your bowl.
This is my
when you
my turn.
so if someone's potentially going to go and get a Gusto or whatever it is,
Gusto.
what meals would you recommend or
So
what have you had that you
the
enjoyed?
difficulty is they change them every week.
Bastards.
So, but to be honest, it's great. There's always variations on the theme. So
It's Indian week. It's
the
Asian
taco.
week.
Well, no. So there's always like a burrito or a taco one. There's always a burger. There's always a make your own pizza. There's always curry variations. There's like moussakas.
There's some Arab.
Like I think the one we've just selected is like a what's the name of that?
Peanut puree.
Peanut puree.
Satay.
It's just
Chicken satay.
peanut salad and peanut chicken
With relish.
with a peanut sauce.
Yeah.
How much is it?
Chicken macaroni, and a 1-pot Mexican beef rice and beans are the 2 that I picked.
Okay, well, I mean, the chance of you ever eating that or cooking that.
Well, precisely. So, and the nice thing about it is the cards they give you, so the recipe cards are hole punched. So we're just going to keep the recipe cards, and then over time you can accumulate, like what Yusuf has. You think like, oh well, I need this much garlic and ginger for all these recipes. So you start to accumulate it, and they've all got the macros, and it's all in MyFitnessPal.
Piss.
Really good.
That's awesome. And that's
GOUSTO.
Can you find your referral code for me?
I'll send it to you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yusuf, you're up.
So I've got another physical one.
Oh, 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Bloody
Alright.
hell.
You guys have all been physical ones as well.
It's digital.
So
Digital cooking.
keep dental floss in the shower. You know where you have all the stuff to hang the shower gels.
Okay.
Because flossing is one of those things that you just never get around to doing.
Okay.
Whereas you're not doing anything in the shower. You're just standing there getting wet and warm. So pull out a dental floss. And also it means when you spit out all the blood and stuff, it just goes off into the shower, drains away. So we spoke to Dean Hindmarch recently that said that the largest source of systemic inflammation in the body is from your gums. And because most people are terrible at flossing, there's a huge low-hanging fruit with flossing. And that brings down your CRP, which is the inflammatory marker produced by your liver, and that bringing that down correlates with better body composition, better mood, lower stress, all those things. So
Fuck me.
So
I know, so
this
just-
happened with me saying to him, because he was like, depression has got. Did I just talk over you there?
No.
So I just had this thought. I was like, started speaking. I was like, oh shit! Did I just completely cut you off?
Lost it.
So I said, he was like, people have I'm gonna get this wrong, genetic predisposition to depression. Yeah. then I said, like, if you have that, what can you do? And he said, well, you manage your inflammation. And I was like, fine. How do you manage your inflammation? He said, well, he said, well, flossing.
Floss
I
your
was like,
teeth.
fucking hell. So you're telling me, mate, that if I just floss my teeth,
Your
I'm
teeth.
your
depression's
teeth,
gone
your
away.
teeth, I'm less likely to get depression. Saying, hey? I hope he's not watching. Terrible impersonation. But yeah, so floss your teeth.
Okay.
Using the Scone method.
So
Do you use mouthwash?
occasionally,
So for me, I've managed to get myself into the rhythm that the degree of cleanness that I'm happy with for my teeth now is mouthwash clean. So that's, you know how I don't get how some people are able to leave the house without cleaning their teeth.
Yeah.
For me, it's the same as walking out the house without your shoes on. I'd just be like, I'm not ready to go. Like, and there is part of me that isn't done. I'd be like walking out with no pants on or something like that. And for me now, the bar for cleanliness for mouth has been raised up to like green blue Listerine, which is like the hat one, like the fucking.
do you remember the original flavour Listerine?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Is that
The
it?
hardcore one.
They changed the colour.
It's
They
like-
used to be yellow. It was just like original
Oh,
flavour. It
really?
had no
Oh,
flavour. It
oh,
was
no.
just like bleach flavour. It was
Oh right,
properly.
okay, no, that might be a bit more old
There's
school.
a
than me.
purple one.
I don't
that's
think they
quite
have it
nice.
anymore.
No, you need that one, man. You want your fucking mouth to be on fire, yeah. But yeah, so
They've pussified it recently, man. Honestly, the one in the 1990s, back in when Old Spice was like a scoop that you had to.
lather on.
They
Yeah.
all just use Brill cream.
Yeah. Someone fucking requested that on a photo shoot the other day.
Old
Anyway,
Spice.
What, Brill cream?
Brill cream? Yeah. What do you style your hair with? And I saw on the call sheet one of the male models had requested Brill cream. I was like, the
You're
fuck?
like, come on,
Who's
mate.
invited David Beckham with us here? Fuck off.
2019 now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So with the dental floss thing, I always knew that I should floss at the back of my mind. Admittedly, Dean Hindmarch has like fully convinced me to do that now. But even knowing that, no one needs convincing of the benefits. But it's like it's still not something you really get around to doing it. And I had it in my drawer, out of sight, never really got around to it. Whereas now in the shower, it's like, oh great.
Have you got
Like,
a
I'm
particular
excited to
type? Because
do
you
it.
can get like mint.
Yeah, I
dental
got
floss.
the Oral-B satin one, just because if you get a cheap one, it ends up like catching and fraying, and then you get little bits stuck in it. So it's better to just pay like. It's
You don't
it's
you get like it's like
3 quid or
20
something.
meters or something in this
You get
little.
even more, 40, 50 meters, yeah. So you may as well pay £3, like an extra 40p or something for the nice one.
Yeah. And that'll
It's
last
minty
what,
as
like
well.
probably half a year, something like that.
Yeah, and if you get a minty one, like obviously there will be a residual taste of the plaque that you're clearing out from in between the teeth. And if you use an unflavoured one, then there's still going to be that sense. So
Should you
oh,
floss before you clean your teeth? Because I tend to clean my teeth then get in the shower.
so I don't know, and
I'm going to presume
I've got a
that
few-
you must have to floss first, then clean, then mouthwash.
Clean all the.
Yeah.
I've got a few dentist friends that are very specific about the order of this stuff because they're like, oh, but you introduce bacteremia when you floss, and so there has to be the frequency of this, and then you got to leave the fluoride to soak into the teeth for this much time, and don't have sugar within this much time.
David
and-
Breton, if you're listening.
So, final tip for flossing: rather than like trying to fiddle around with each tooth, take a strip this long, wrap it on
How
both
long?
fingers.
Round about a foot and a half.
Probably, yeah. Wrap it around both index fingers, 3 or
Like
4 times.
you're a Turkish man about to thread someone's eyebrows.
Yeah, like you're a Turkish man or a hitman about to garrote someone. And then start at the very back, both teeth up at the top, and
Okay.
then just work through. So you're doubling your efficiency with flossing, and then do
Okay.
the back.
Is it
Find
in and out
sometimes need
once?
A little side to side to get it in.
They say don't saw.
That'll
pop it
scythe
in.
through the gums. I'm going to
Pops.
guess.
Yeah.
So is it just once in and out, or a couple of times?
So I just go once in, and then work all the way forward, and then bottom teeth all the way back.
But you must have to go. You can't.
Yeah,
You can't get the middle one.
Oh, so for the middle one, yeah. You do
I don't think I
have
could get floss right at the back of my teeth.
I might. See how far you can get you.
to. No, you can't.
See how far you get you. Come on.
You do jaw exercise.
You should be
The
able to
kit lock can
fit
fit all your hand in your mouth.
three. I think 3 fingers. You should be able to
I
get.
Three
can't.
knuckles.
Can you?
No,
I can't.
not those knuckles. Just that.
What?
Oh, like that.
What?
Yeah, you should get those 3.
Ah.
That hurt. Have you ever had cramp occur in your jaw when you try and eat a really big burger?
Yeah.
And
Get
you're
it
like,
down like.
oh.
Yeah.
Right, okay, my
A
turn.
lump that pops out there.
My turn. I'm going to stay
I was
in
in a maths lesson at school and I had my mouth stuck open and I was like, no, Yusuf, stop being naughty. And I was like, and yeah, like a lump pops out there.
That's. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Something occurs in there. Yeah, it's so weird.
I've never had that before.
If you've had jaw problems, get at me on social media and tell me about your jaw problems that make us feel better. I'm going to stay in the kitchen for mine. Staying in the kitchen.
Okay.
Today. Do you know the correct way to cut a cake?
I'm probably doing it all wrong. I bet this is one of those things like tying your shoelaces where actually you realise all your life you've been...
When you say the correct way...
Or the most effective way to keep freshness?
No.
So you've got a cake of any shape, a cake of most shapes. I'm going to guess there'll be some... if it's an octagonal shape that has 3 tetrahedrons inside of it, then actually it's more effective to go from the northern quarter. So what you want to do, most people when they get a cake, they'll cut a little wedge out, right? So you go from the middle down, like classic birthday cake, right? Mother at birthday party. Wedge down, wedge out again, and then from that, the line that's been made, you'll continue to cut one wedge all the way around until the cake's gone. But you have no way of protecting the sponginess, the lovely soft sponginess inside, from the air outside, which is when you then need to cling film over the top. However, if you have a cake, circular or square or whatever it might be like that, and you cut a complete line from one side right the way to the other,
Then you can...
and then you just slide the rest of the cake together, the icing around the outside will continue to protect it, and it will still, all of the lovely soft sponginess will be hermetically sealed inside by the icing.
So there's a problem that I see with that, which is as you approach the end of the cake, you end up with the final 2 slices being almost exclusively icing.
Fun.
Fun.
So, hold on.
I suppose you can look forward to that.
Hold on. There's a circle cake.
Yes.
Right? Are you cutting a line or are you cutting a piece?
So he's saying you bisect the whole cake across the diameter
Yeah.
and then you move bits in.
So you're going to make 2 parallel lines, the width that you want, and then go...
You end up with a really weird slice of cake.
I see. So I
Well, you're
thought-
not. You're going to end up with a perfectly straight slice of cake.
You're going to end up with it with... so you know when sometimes you go to a birthday party where there's like 40 kids there.
And you end up with...
You went to like Coco's or Laser Quasar,
yeah,
and you end up with a slice of cake. You're like, who the fuck's done this? Like,
slice instead of a wedge.
Yeah. But it's someone with a proper cake technique, isn't it?
Yeah.
So actually, we were exposed to professionals from a very young age.
Because occasionally you'd get a slice of cake that was really icingy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening. And then you are right. You have identified that as you get more towards the crust at the very end,
a slither of cake and a big bit of... Yeah.
But I mean, who doesn't want that? Actually, are you allergic to marzipan?
No, almonds. Almonds are okay.
Are they?
Almonds and walnuts are fine. So I only know that. It's a funny story. I only know that because...
Is it?
I was sat in uni. So me, Dom, Audio Broadcast Gibson,
Digital.
right? We were sat playing Call of Duty on 3 separate TVs on the same Wi-Fi, just preventing anybody from being able to access the VLE or anything they needed to do. And I said, you know what, fuck this, I'm sick of this. Drove to the co-op, picked up hazelnuts, walnuts, almonds, gave Dom the EpiPen and said, I'm going to work through these while we're playing COD. If I have a reaction, I know, negligent. I know.
God.
Did almonds, did walnuts.
You ate them all?
Both fine. I ate one, then a couple more.
Okay.
Same with walnuts. Thought 3 times in a row seemed a bit much. I'll not bother with the
It's like
hazelnuts.
playing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
What would have happened had you have eaten the hazelnut?
So I don't know, but I think I'd
Never
probably
had
be okay.
Nutella.
I think I probably have by accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit of a fitnessy thing, right?
Very fitnessy.
Right, Johnny, you're
And
up.
I am so fitness.
Johnny, come on.
I had one on there. Dip my tongue.
I'm creating the show notes as we go
3
here. I've life hacked the life hacks.
Amazing.
3 things per day, 1 thing per week.
Giveaway.
No, do complete.
And the
So-
3 things per day are mini things.
Yeah. So, book called Essentialism, book called The One Thing. Basically, all attack the same thing, which is that lack of focus, procrastination, being ineffective, etc., come from just trying to do too many things and being diffusely focused. So, each week, pick a thing, like a project that you're going to move forward or complete, and then at the start of each day, look at your to-do list and pick 3 things and do those 3 things every single day. And it sounds insanely simple, really difficult.
Give me an example of 3 things.
So they'd all be like work related for me. So it might be send to marketing emails, finish off a certain piece of automation or software, write a piece of content. So it's not stuff that would be, it's not stuff that like you are doing all the time recurring. It's not low level tasks. It's stuff that if you didn't make time to do it, it probably wouldn't get done.
Do you think working very well for you as well?
Do you think that this works particularly well in a job where you have like consistent categories of tasks that come up? For instance, if you are someone that works in customer service or something like me, which is very responsive, if the majority of your job is conflict management or problem solving.
So maybe not in that instance, yeah.
I'm just trying to think about
it's for stuff. So something that Yusuf's big on is the Eisenhower matrix. So anything that's in urgent, not urgent, but important. So stuff that we procrastinate on, essentially.
Got you.
If you make time for things like that, then it helps.
Yeah.
But like if all of your job is just in the urgent and important category and everything has to be done now, then yeah. But I think I think most people in knowledge work, so you aren't producing something physical, procrastinate on shit constantly.
100%.
And even students, like, pick 3 lectures you want to do today, or pick a lecture you want to do this week, and then slides you want, like it's just chunking things down. And also, like there are apps you can use to track this. So like Todoist, you can set a task goal for the day. So when you've done your 3 things, it goes like congratulations. And but if you do it during the work week, you do 15 things a week, 15 mini things and 1 big thing. Like that's a shit ton. And most people can't look back over the past week and say, these are the 15 like relatively important things I did.
Yeah.
So it's just having some direction and purpose with what you do.
Got you. That's good.
So to take off on that and to explain further on the on the Eisenhower matrix, it is you have 4 quadrants of urgent and important. So you have urgency and you have importance. Urgent and important, urgent and not important, important but not urgent, and not urgent, not important. So those are the 4 quadrants. With important and urgent, you do them right away. With important but not urgent, you schedule them to do them at some point in the future. With not important and urgent, you delegate. And with not important, not urgent, you just sack them off.
So could you give a type of example of a task that might fall into each one?
Yeah, so
urgent and important.
So for who's the avatar here?
Desk worker, desk job.
Okay, so
or you. So whatever.
Okay, for a desk worker, you've got like urgent and important. You have a project that is due tomorrow, and it's a presentation that has to be done. You need to do it because it requires your knowledge or expertise, and it can't wait until next week. So you prioritize that. You do that immediately. Urgent and not important might be some tasks that maybe the intern could do if you just like spent 10 minutes with them, explain what they need to do, work through it's like some kind of monotonous task that has to be done, but it's not really top of your priorities. So you schedule in a time to speak to them, and then you delegate that. For the important but not urgent stuff, that might be stuff that actually progresses your career long term.
That's the danger zone, isn't it?
Danger zone, building skills, and it's stuff that it's so easy to just put it off because you think, oh, well, there's no real consequence if I don't do this, at least not in the short term. But long term, if you neglect the stuff that is important and not urgent, then your whole life starts to just trundle along and be crap. So that's the stuff you need to schedule in and dedicate time on a weekend or whatever to do, which might be like reading, improving yourself, training, or like training is a very good example actually, because it's
CPD of some sort.
Yeah, CPD, like, because there's no consequence of not doing it. There's no immediate gain from doing it, but it builds up and creates.
James Clear,
a lot of people at least that I speak to in desk jobs, the stuff that would fit into that category is exactly that sort of thing. Like, I want to learn to code, I want to take watercolor classes, or like shit that if you don't think, right, I'm going to do this tonight or this weekend.
Do you know what I've done that's been good for that? Coursera. Have you heard of that?
Okay, yeah.
Is that like Udemy?
It's similar to Udemy or Great Courses Plus, but it's like, so I went and I did a big analysis of all of this at the start of the year. I wanted to formalize my learning so that I was accountable to an external timeline, and they have like week by week by week modules that you're moving through, and if you start to fall behind, they give you emails and stuff like that.
Okay.
Coursera seemed to be, as far as I could see, one of the most sophisticated. Like Udemy's got some good stuff on. Great Courses Plus just seems to be like for people from YouTube to share referral links to. Doesn't really look like there's that much good stuff on there. But
Some masterclass as well.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna guess there's loads.
I think this because I nearly bought it when I was going through the cookery. I want to learn how to cook. Gordon Ramsay has a masterclass thing that's
really?
400 quid or something. Or
So I'm guessing Coursera is like vetted and it's been.
Well, it's issued by actual unis, but they have the most popular MOOC, massive open online course,
right.
In the world, the best, and it's free.
Wow.
So it's interesting. The accountability is very important there. I think like something that George said to me the other day was that he wanted to set up some dropshipping project, and he was like, I don't want to speak to you about the specifics yet because I've not taken action, and I know that I'm the kind of person that gets the same hit from talking about doing something as I do from actually doing it. And so that's like just kind of talking about doing a thing. But if you have a course where it's like you need to check in with a coach, or you need to tick something off, then it gets rid of that, and it's like you have to actually do the thing.
So what's not important and not urgent?
That's just stuff that that you maybe it may masquerade as important, not urgent. So the development stuff, but you look at it and you think, actually, this isn't going to add much value to my life, but it's just hanging over my head. The Warren Buffett thing, where he said to his pilot, what are the 25 things that you want to achieve in your career? And he was like, oh, it's all this stuff. And he's like, right, take number 5 to 25 and put all that stuff on your do not ever do under any circumstances list. Because he was like, all that's going to do is crowd your thinking. And, the essentialism, I'm sure he used that example of essentialism where it's like, you just need to have a single focus. So I'm terrible with that. I've got too many things on and I'm always trying to do too much stuff. And so the Eisenhower Matrix has been a huge improvement for me. And so the life hack is an app called Focus Matrix, which it's free. There's lots of paid ones as well, but I think all you need is a free one. It's literally just like a to-do list in 4 quadrants, color-coded, and you can add little sub-notes into the to-do list, and it's just completely helps me to organize.
Is that the same guys as BeFocus Pro?
It is, yeah.
So it
syncs with that.
Ties in.
Yeah, so you can buy... So BeFocus Pro is a Pomodoro timer, and so you can buy the suite, and they're all like £2 each or something, so you can definitely buy all the lot.
Yeah.
And then they just sync with each other. So you can take a task, say, right, start Pomodoros on this, and then it works through.
And it tracks the Pomodoros in each segment as well.
Lovely.
Very clever.
Yeah, that's like...
Very clever.
Oh, God. Right, okay, so... I don't think that we've actually properly done Pomodoros and how big of a change it's been for me.
Have we not?
No, not properly. I was going to do an entire one on like productivity and stuff like that.
I'm realising we're making so many references to things like saying Pomodoro. If you haven't heard of a Pomodoro, you'll be like,
what's that?
Yeah.
Tomato.
So, tomato.
Italian tomato.
Tomato.
Was it a normal... Pomodoros are, for me, have been probably the single biggest shift in work and how I schedule my time when I'm at work doing some form of work that I've ever had. It's the same as so I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't know why. I can't understand how other people construct their working day without doing it. This is how big of a frame shift using them. I'm going to guess that it's similar for you guys now as well. Like if you were doing
that's such a great metric. It's like when you do something and you're like, how do people live without this?
Yeah.
That's automatic cars. I was literally it's
like, what the fuck are you doing? What, like you put your foot to the floor and you move your hand to choose the gear. What, like a fucking Neanderthal? Like
I used to think,
oh my God, churn your own butter as well.
Oh God. So Paul Not Small's the extension of that was like, because people say, oh no, I like change my gears. It's like, well, where does that stop? Like, well, I'm going to get out and push the car, or I'm going to get out and start the car manually myself.
Stop the car, wipe the windscreen wipers.
I'm going to make my own fuel from crush the raw material. But
it's not manly, is it?
It's to feel involved in the driving experience.
I used to think that about.
Oh, you're a woman. You're a little girl if you drive a.
But I can change gear faster than you can.
Well, because you don't
Because
have
the car
to.
just does it.
Yeah.
There's a guy on a speed awareness course where someone that I was on the speed awareness course, someone was like, the instructor was talking about what gear to choose, going downhill and going up. He's like, I drive a manual car. I drive an automatic car. And he's like, well, yes, that would do it for you. It's like, what's the point of this fucking segment then? Like, there'll be at least half the people in this room will have.
They should do, or they should go back and listen to Life Hacks 101. And so, Pomodoro, essentially, you do a 25-minute period of focused work, you take a 5-minute break, and then you go back to doing your work. It sounds pretty simple, and it is. You create a list of all of the things that you have to do. You then order them in order of importance, and then there's one task that you're working on at one time. So it avoids the multitasking issue that a lot of us come up against, which is what derails you. Oh, I'll do a little bit of this and I'll do a little bit of that. And it's like, no. You begin down your list of priority. You start at the top and you begin to move down. One thing that I've particularly liked to do is to use the Zeigarnik effect, open loop, close loop, in collaboration with the Pomodoro technique, which is that when my alarm goes off to say that it's the end of 25 minutes, even if I'm partway through a word, it'll be hands off keyboard. And yeah, fine, I will sell them. One of the advantages of that is that when I come back to begin my work, you can always finish the word. You've got that open loop, so you fall back into the work. Whereas if you allow yourself to complete it, it feels like more of a bookend. So Parkinson's law, work expands to fill the time given for it. Time boxing also makes you accountable externally to the clock. If you use BeFocus Pro, which will be linked in the show notes below, if you use that, there's a little timer on MacBook which counts down from 25, which also makes you accountable. And it's just a little bit like the analogy to draw to meditation is when you return to the breath or when you realize that you've been lost in thought. Like you'll do something and it's a little red clock that's not that distracting, but it's distracting enough for if you're not doing the task that you're supposed to be doing, for you to think, fuck, like I've got 16 minutes left. And you do like those little periods. You can tie this in with Professor Ewan Lawson from episode 17, his 20-20-20 rule. So every 20 minutes for 20 seconds, look at something that's 20 feet away, which helps to reset the ocular muscles so that you don't get too much eye strain. It's also good for if you have stretching that you need to do throughout the day, like little bits of exercises. It ensures, like if you get in a good enough routine with it, you can have, I'm going to have my water consumption externally accountable to my Pomodoros. My stretching is accountable to my Pomodoros. If you charge your AirPods when you're doing your Pomodoros, you'll never run out of AirPod charge. Like there's so many different things that you can do. And BeFocus, BeFocus Pro has the timer for 15 on, at 25 on, then 5 off. And then for me, I've got every 4 a 15-minute break during my Pomodoro break time, which means that you can go, that for me is also externally accountable. Every 15-minute one for me is a walk that I know takes 10 minutes, plus I've got 2 minutes to put my shoes on, take them off, and come back in, have a glass of water. And the shift it's nothing short of global, like in terms of my...
I think the reason that, you know, you're saying like, how do people manage their day otherwise? I honestly think that, so I worked in a coffee shop with a friend who works as an accountant in a business. And I said to him, like, I used to work at KPMG with him. We used to revise.
When you say you worked in a coffee shop, you mean you would work
we were both
on
in
a
the coffee
laptop
shop.
in the coffee shop?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Making espresso.
Doing Pomodoros. Johnny, what are you doing, mate? Oh, no, I want a Pomodoro.
Yeah. 5-minute break.
So we used to revise together for professional exams. We used to revise in Pomodoros. And so when he was working with me, we were doing Pomodoros together. And after 2 Pomodoros, he said to me, that is the most uninterrupted work I've done for as long as I can remember. Because he's constantly getting people asking him stuff or questions. And I think the way the average person gets through a work day is they're in an office and it's a very disrupted environment and there's very little intense work. And I find that so weird to think back to that's how I used to work. But
bizarre.
Like for me, like 8 Pomodoros of work or 12 Pomodoros of work in a day is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But to do less than that, most people do like 2 or 3. I'm like, well, how do you get by with that? But that's how. There's just, you can't have that. It was hard to have that structure.
It is bizarre to think that most office structures, especially when you've got, like we've got a couple of friends who work in kind of like new new wave Gen Y offices that are all open plan with like cool sound systems and this, that, and the other.
AstroTurf on the walls.
Yeah, and like, all that I think is
Horrible for
all
focus.
that I think is put me in the quietest, smallest cubicle.
Take me to a cabin with no Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that's
like
what,
put me lock me in there, and then for the 5 minutes during my thing, give me a yoga mat and give me some other people. Hey man, how's it going? Oh, here's a dog. Here's like loads of stimulus. Like great, and then I'm like,
They're all waiting at the edge of
just
the
straight outside, and then back in.
So I think the way that offices should be managed is in the Pomodoro, the rhythm. So the 5 breaks and then a 15, 5 breaks then lunch.
We need to talk about this for the Cal Newport deep work review, where he slates open plan offices for just like the fact that there's been open plan, there's a movement towards instant messaging, and everything's just completely degrading the sense of
what's insulting as well is when there's a culture that those people work late. And you're like, there is zero respect for anybody's time in this setup. Like,
so true.
You take you
and they wouldn't need to work late if it wasn't for.
So everyone should just at the start of the day set out like, these are the tasks I'm going to do. And
Once I've done them,
I can go home, and then you should be.
And leave me alone while I'm doing.
You should
tasks.
be punished if you are either under providing tasks or not completing the tasks you've set, and rewarded if you're more productive than other people.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, what is anybody doing?
well, it's this.
Just like staring at shit.
One of the main problems with this is that you need to be able, and this is why you have pay bands, right? And unfortunately, there's like, I don't know what the particular mind experiment would be, but it'll be similar to kind of like the prisoner's dilemma, where there'll be some people that'll do less and get dragged along, and there's some people that'll do more and they will drag the others, but both of those people are on the same pay band. Essentially everyone should be on, as far as I'm concerned, everyone that's a knowledge worker should be on performance-based pay. And you're like, right, okay, if you can get your work done in this time, and if someone says I work better from home, allow them to work from home.
Yeah.
Well, this is part of the 4-hour work week idea of you convince your boss that if you can take a couple of days to work from home and then you outperform your other days when you're working from home, you can then say, well, look at my numbers. I've been performing better on Thursday when I was off and working from home. So can I? And you were saying that the incentives are so misaligned at KPMG because you finish the tasks for the day. And then you're just given more stuff. Like your reward for completing the work.
So the 9 to 5 model is like, if you've done your work by 3, you'll just be given more work. So and that's work that may have been allocated to someone else who's had a really unproductive day. So you're punished for being productive. But that's, the biggest criticism I hear for this stuff is, but my job involves management, or there's meetings and I need to communicate with people. But all that stuff could still be more outcome focused than it is.
So I'm perfect avatar for that. Like a lot of my stuff's response. I'll be requiring.
Well, you are literally just managing people, aren't you?
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah, all the time. But even with that, like I'll sit down with the lads, and the boys are doing Pomodoros now. So they're doing their uni recruitment and the revision and all that sort of stuff in Pomodoros, which is awesome. Definitely one thing, and I'm going to guess that you guys will stick to it, but I still stick to David Allen's 2-minute rule, even when doing Pomodoros. So if a task takes, I've extended mine to like 3 minutes. If a task is going to take less than 3 minutes to complete it there and then. And even if I'm in a Pomodoro, I'll do it. Like, because I'm like, oh God, like if I try and slot this in, like where the fuck does it go?
So a nice way to take that, and so if you're the rule, if you follow like Francisco Cicerello's like
the original Pomodoro,
is you protect the Pomodoro. That is the most important thing. Like, you do not interrupt a Pomodoro to do something else. So you note those things down. Something I find is really nice way to start the day is you have a list of like really easy 2-minute tasks, and the first Pomodoro of the day is just like do, and then like by 8:30.
So you do put them in a Pomodoro.
Yeah.
What
And then
if they're urgent?
Well, you have to just be an adult, I suppose, and just make assessments. But like,
Or take your break, do the tasks before your next Pomodoro begins, and then so you've delayed the next Pomodoro starting. But the risk is you get sucked in. Like, you start a 2-minute task. Quite often I'll start a task that I think will take 2 minutes, and then 2 hours later you're like,
So I have one that's related to this, so I'll do mine. So all within the Pomodoro. So I feel like I must have been doing it for like at least 5 years in different different areas like revision and other stuff. So I think the the best skill I think it allows you to create is you look at a to-do list. So like, I think what I do is I'll look at my to-do list and look at my day and think, I'm going to do these 10 things today. And it gets to like 3:30 and I've done 2 of the 10 things. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm such a twat. Like, I'm having such an unproductive day. And I'll maybe do 4 and just be really annoyed at myself. But like, the reality is, between when you start work and when you finish work, there's a certain amount of focused time that you can spend. And like, there are hours, but you need to take breaks to maintain that focus. So you look at that to-do list and you say, right, today I have time to do 10 Pomodoros. So this task, how many Pomodoros is that going to take me? 3. All right, that one's going to take me 2. Right, that's my day filled. And then you have a way to actually assess at the end, like, I thought that was going to take me 3, it took me 4, right? Or that I thought it was going to take me 2, it took me 1. So actually you get better at looking at, that's a task, and that's how long it's going to take me.
That's a 3 pom task. Yeah. That's a 2 pom.
And you just see things as, that's 4 Pomodoros, 2 Pomodoros.
So I've started doing that in my focus matrix.
Right, so now look at them and say...
So in my focus matrix tasks, I have square brackets with 3 or 2 or whatever after the task, so that I know...
Because then you just build your day, and then you can build a day plan just out of Pomodoros. Yeah. And then you've got a map for the day.
You might have some tasks that are like 15 Pomodoros or whatever.
And there's no better feeling than doing a 3 Pomodoro task and 2 Pomodoros.
Oh.
Because you're ahead.
What's that? What's that noise?
Little tile.
So, yeah, if I have a tile in my wallet, you know, the thing that the GPS tracking thing.
Yeah.
And it only goes off during podcasts.
If I press on my wallet, which is here,
yeah,
with my elbow, it has a feature that allows me to find my wallet by squeezing it. So that's what that was.
It allows you to find your wallet by squeezing it.
Squeezing the wallet.
Squeeze the tile and it's like,
here I am. I wouldn't need to squeeze it.
Evidently.
It's annoying. It was good initially, but it's annoying now.
One of the first criticisms or one of the first arguments that Darren had. So my business partner is the perfect avatar for someone who is genetically predisposed to be a fantastic businessman, incredibly shrewd, and like he 80/20s my 80/20 from this.
Right.
So he just doesn't subscribe to the vast majority of the stuff, but some of the things like the trackpad speed and the automatic car and a few of the bits he's kind of trickled down. But the first criticism he had was, well, that means out of every half an hour I'm losing 5 minutes. And I'm like,
you'd lose more if you tried to work all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's simply a lack of perspective.
It's like someone who does 5-3-1 and thinks they don't need a deload.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong, and you'll be proved
if I kept
wrong.
5-3-1,
like the system will prove you wrong eventually when it crushes you.
That is such
and Pomodoro is exactly the same thing. Like you get your 25 minutes in your day, and it goes,
I'm dead hard. I don't need to have a deload.
No. I'll not take it. Suddenly, it's an hour later. You've lost all structure.
Yeah.
You're on YouTube. You don't know why. Yeah. So just take the fucking break. Like follow the structure.
The analogy of like, oh, I'm fucking hard as fuck. It's so correct. Have you ever done it where you're like, I feel mint? Like Command Shift S, Command Shift B, which is like skip this current break intervals, start this current work interval.
I love that you're on the keyboard shortcuts for it. It makes me so happy.
And I'm just like, yeah, fuck this. Watch me go double up. Like,
and then you fail, don't you? Every fucking time.
Yeah.
So another mini hack is I have been doing. So we've mentioned Anton Creel on this course on this podcast quite a few times. So he has a very thorough course to learn how to trade. So I look at that and think, right, there are 28 modules here. So each of them's probably an hour. Like that's okay. That's a lot of content of like, it's not like, so this is how you get motivated, and this is like, okay, so we'll hedge out the alpha with the beta. Like fucking hell, like this is a degree basically. So all I do is when my Pomodoro break starts, my AirPods are still in, stop my music, change tab, play, start the Anton video, and I'll like get up and like make sure I'm away from my desk. But that allows me to do an hour of a course I'm trying to do, and I don't even notice it. So within my breaks, and it's not quite, I can't do it all day because it is quite cognitively demanding, but it's very different to what I've been doing. Yeah. So it feels like
enough of a frame shift.
You come back to the work, you're like, oh, I was doing this. And especially when it's interesting as well.
I don't think I'd be able to do that each time.
See, probably maybe for the first 4 or 5 of the day, get it done, and then
run out of gas.
Cat videos.
It's mad. Like when you actually, like I have to have phone down, but my workplace environment design now is quite good. So it's like phones away or phones in another room. and I'm controlling like wirelessly through AirPods.
You've got to treat yourself like a child, don't you?
Yeah,
That's
exactly what. That's exactly.
Have you got cold turkey?
I don't need it. I don't need it for my laptop.
Sounds like someone who needs cold turkey.
I don't need it for my laptop.
It's like, I don't have an alcohol problem.
Has that been one of our life hacks before?
Yeah, we've done it already.
So the other thing I do at the start of a Pomodoro, you have a different setup, but I just do click the little, what even is it?
The little timer thing.
The little logo for cold turkey.
Oh, it's
like
turkey.
It's a turkey. Click the turkey. Start block. WhatsApp and iMessage 25 minutes. Email 25 minutes. And then it goes ding when I try and press it. So the number of times I go to like open iMessage reflectively or go and open email.
Yeah. And
it
knocks
just
it out
goes,
your
twat. It's like,
it's so brutal.
Like, look how fickle you are, you
it
dickhead.
may as well be like you pick up your phone and it just knocks it out your hand. It's just like,
You just don't realise, like my default, if something's a bit hard, I was like, just check email. And before I know what's happened.
sorry.
Yeah, you've been electrocuted. Right,
Yeah.
Yusuf, what have you got?
Now, this is one volunteered from Benny, who is the wonderful audio man who does all of the podcasts for us, and also our good friend as well. So he has said, life hacks tip. Now, the reason I'm prefacing with the fact that it's him that suggested this is that this scares the hell out of me as a life hack.
Okay.
Life hack tip: Chrome extension Tab Wrangler. It'll auto close tabs that are open after a period of defined inactivity. Essentially, use it or lose it. Stop procrastinating with tabs as a to-do list.
That is fantastic.
It really scares me.
That makes my willy want to go
So
inside.
why?
Same.
So talk me through your objection.
Sometimes I have tabs open as permanent reference. I know I should set up like an Alfred shortcut maybe for it, but
Why don't you just have them as an Evernote file?
sometimes they're like wiki websites or whatever where you need, like, to the BMJ website ways to...
I always have my Chrome always has, first one is to-do list, which is on a cloud document, which I know you guys will hate, but that's a separate point. And then the second one is the shared ad spends Google Drive file.
This comes from us over-engineering Google to make it use it as apps that it's not designed for.
Yeah.
And I know it probably, you might be listening and thinking, that just sounds like a bunch of excuses, guys. Like, just suck it up. And
I think more people will be listening and thinking, what the fuck are they on about?
Yeah.
Why are you so bothered about saving 5 minutes per day? Why are you so bothered about having a cloud-based like ad spend
But
sheet?
it's stuff that you can't.
What you don't understand, person who's watching, is that this is everything to us. Okay,
But it's also everything to them. They just don't realise it.
it is.
It's like when you.
This is why you need to listen to life hacks.
Everyone has a bodybuilding goal. They just don't realise it. This is exactly the same thing.
yeah, that's a real bugbear for me. Everyone does have... You might, I'm not interested in bodybuilding.
Yes, you are.
You want to be less fat and you want more muscle. Just because you don't want to be Ronnie Coleman doesn't mean that you don't have...
You don't want to be Ronnie
bodybuilding
Coleman now.
So Ronald was right when he said,
Ronald.
"But I want to be a bodybuilder."
Nobody want to lift any heavy ass weight. They don't. I mean,
Never has there been a more true statement.
Ron shouldn't have lifted the heavy ass weight either, should he? Have you watched
lifted
the
it too
Netflix
many-
thing?
Yeah. So.
Have you watched it?
No.
Oh man,
Is
it's
he
just a
that
bit
upset?
harrowing.
Well, he's like, he can barely walk and stuff. It's like it's quite sad actually.
He's on the top end dose of those real big dick painkillers, the oxys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's on like is it 30s or 40s of them, like 3 times a day now.
But he's just immensely positive
And
about the
he's
whole thing.
still training.
Yeah,
He's still going into that fucking whatever it is, powerhouse gym or whatever it's
Just
called.
does tricep extensions and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Does like feet up bench press. He can't. His back
I
can't go
think
into extension.
people think he's a big caricature, but I think he operated and still operates at a very high level.
Oh, he's a
mentally.
very smart guy, yeah.
But all that, like, who the fuck is about a double 700-pound squat? He's going like, woo!
He puts on a yellow banana and does walking lunges down a road just for gags.
Like when you're still not taking it seriously, when you're doubling a 700-pound, like 300-kilo squat plus,
It's brilliant.
and it's still just a joke to you.
Yeah.
What's
I mean,
yours?
800. It's 800 pounds. Solid ass pounds.
It's solid ass pants.
Solid ass
What
pants.
was your one just then?
Mine was the Tab Wrangler.
Tab Wrangler.
to air brain glue.
For anyone else who is running a podcast that has life hacks on, a life hack for your life hacks podcast is to do your show notes while you're doing this.
Yeah.
What else? So we've already spoken about this, but I want to bring it up again, and I'm going to enjoy doing this as well. I think we need to revisit some of them later down the road because we're getting new viewers.
I bet there's ones from Life Hacks 1 that we need to look back on.
Oh, we definitely do. And this is one that I've recently fallen in love with, and it's yours, Flume. So
yes, Chris.
it's just if you need to use Instagram, you shouldn't be using it on your phone. My argument to our boys is, and I gave them a sit down about productivity the other day in the office, and I said essentially, if your phone is out while you're at work, you're not doing work, and if you're not doing work while you're at work, you might as well be at home. So if you get your phone out, just go home. Like,
Yeah.
you can use iMessage on your laptop, WhatsApp web, Facebook, Twitter. And with Flume, like the last bastion of why I need to get my phone out was that, because it's like, you're not, mate, don't fucking bullshit me. You're not doing work on Snapchat. Like, so it's just a very nice interface for Instagram on your laptop. You can post, if you pay like £5 for the pro version, you can even post photos with all of the editing filters and all the rest of the stuff. I have no idea because it's fucking not certified by Instagram, but all of your credentials are held securely. You can have multiple accounts to log into.
Because it used to be that the problem with these Instagram apps is that you could only view and you couldn't post from a laptop. Flume does allow you to, you can just drag photos in from your Finder.
Yeah.
The only thing you can't do is schedule, but there are other apps that you can do for that. But this allows you, to schedule, to post out photos, videos, all of the functions of
do comments, reply to DMs, find people.
The frame, when you post a video and you select the still frame, you can do all that.
Literally, it's the only thing that you can't do, and they do need to sort it, is it doesn't have what it classes as support for temporary messages, support for temporary disappearing messages, i.e. anything on stories. So you can't upload to your story, view stories, or respond, see replies which are responses to yours or other people's stories. And for me, that probably constitutes about 30 to 50% of my Instagram DMs. Like, you put your stories up throughout the day and you get responses to that.
That is frustrating, because you just get like a message that says unsupported.
Which is a little bit annoying. But for instance, if you need to, like, one of the underrated tools that people who have big followings on Instagram should use is essentially like direct marketing or below the line marketing to their followers. Because all of them have given you access to their inbox. But the reason that you wouldn't do it is it's so fucking arduous to go through, to navigate through. You're on the app, you're swiping backwards and forwards. I hate getting
an Instagram message because you'd be like, I've got a fat thumb and I've got to try and
open it up and this, that and the other. But with this, you can just have, especially if you've got Alfred and you've got a big fat clipboard, open up a bunch of conversations, go through, hey man, like, so I've got a list of people that I know have particular interests. I've got a buddy called Ben who's in America, so whenever I have a podcast that's about physics that I need to put out, so I can just navigate to him. Here's the link. I've got it all pre-saved in there,
and the keyboard shortcuts within the app as well.
Yes,
just Command 5, 6, whatever for notifications.
So another thing that you can do, which is unbelievable for Flume as well, which I wish you could do for the actual real Instagram app, is you can get rid of the different areas. So I've got rid of my news feed. So you can actually get rid of that particular thing from it. So there's no newsfeed tab, there's no discover tab.
So you just have messages.
Search, messages, and my profile. 3 across the bottom.
I didn't know you can do that.
So it's just no browsing. There's no like explore. There's no discover. There's no newsfeed, and it's just
the productive stuff.
Just my shit.
Have you used the repost as well? So you can right click on someone else's photo.
Yeah, it's got an internal repost function, so you don't even need that. But yeah, Flume.
It maintains the original quality. It copies the caption over. It's so.
It's the opposite to what most people use Instagram for, isn't it?
That's true. I suppose you have to be an Instagram
You have to try and be building a brand, I suppose, for this stuff to matter. Because most people are on Instagram
to consume. But if you're on Instagram to consume, as you're also on this channel,
that leads me to my life hack.
It's amazing.
I suppose ironically they're using Instagram more mindfully than we are, because they're just enjoying Instagram for the purpose of Instagram.
They don't know that they're in the fucking matrix, do they? Like, you are wasting your life.
They're getting the inherent enjoyment from it.
So Cal Newport, who's written Deep Work,
which we're about to review,
just written a book called Digital Minimalism. So I think arguably three books that everybody should read are Atomic Habits, Deep Work, and this. So Deep Work is the ability to focus deeply on a task, which is he calls like the
superpower of the 21st
superpower of this
century.
generation, yeah. And then Building Habits That Last, James Clear's book is incredible for that. And then the stuff that gets in the way of that is the ding, one notification. And Cal Newport has then applied a very similar framework to basically auditing your digital life. So the book, I'm about halfway through. He basically talks about evaluating what is it you're trying to achieve with a piece of software or an app. Is that the best way to achieve that outcome? So like people say, I like Facebook because I get to see my cousin's baby photos. Replace that with call your cousin once a month and the connection will be better, etc.
You'll have a better relationship with your cousin.
Yeah. So don't, like, these platforms are designed to suck you in, keep you there, get you to stay on that screen. So don't give them that unless it's absolutely worth it, and go through a 30-day digital detox and then evaluate what you missed and why.
Supposed to
and
know
then add
the
things
impact
back in
of that as
strategically.
well. Like,
I am
because a lot of people will say like, oh, well, I've used Facebook and it's fine. Like, I don't see the big problem.
Yeah.
If you get rescue time and just run it for a month, don't look at it until the end of the month, and then look back and see how much time you've absolutely pissed away on
And screen
Facebook
time
or
on your
whatever.
phone as well.
Then you're like, oh,
So here's an
it makes you
interesting
feel sick.
thing I used to do with my laptop. I don't do it anymore actually. Is I would so in the Pomodoro book he recommends track your Pomodoros and like a log. So I did it when I initially started them, and I would compare time on rescue time, which is screen time in a week, to Pomodoro time. So how much time, and it was like 10
50-50.
No, it was like 10 plus hours across a week.
Yeah.
That I'm just like on my laptop.
Yeah. What the fuck am I doing?
Like I could watch 5 films.
But is that not time like in between Pomodoros and
A little bit of it is that.
Yeah, actually,
a little
there's
bit
going to
is
be there's going to be an hour a day.
Oh no, actually
at least.
no. I tracked I classed a Pomodoro as 30 minutes.
okay.
That's very clever.
So that's just, so I see 2 Pomodoros as an hour of work,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. Okay. That
but yeah,
digital
so read that book.
minimalism. So
Frightening, scary.
yeah.
Most people won't do it. That's the thing.
How ruthless, because Cal Newport is like, you don't need to be on social media to build a brand. You don't need to be like, I've seen, is it a TED talk that he gave where it's like about how, and these are the common reasons as to why people say that they can't get off social media. And I'm like, fucking hell, Cal.
It's like it presses your buttons.
50 Cal, like
yeah,
headshot.
Because he uses an example of a guy who's like trying to build his, like, he's a guitarist. He's trying to build his brand on social media, and just lists reasons as to why, like,
It's not
the
happening.
guy's excuses. Yeah. Even Anton Creel, right, has a section where he's like, just get rid of your smartphone. I don't care what your reasons are, just get rid of your smartphone.
I use a Nokia 8210 and it's
It does
excellent.
SMS.
It stores 50 numbers and SMS.
But he tweets a lot.
So he has his wife manages Instagram.
Yeah.
His
He
wife
tweets a lot though.
He tweets. So his rule is
Does he write them on a bit of paper or something?
schedule, like, do all of your work on Facebook, Twitter once a week. Schedule it.
Impossible.
You think he's doing
For
it?
you, it's impossible. I
For
think.
him, it's impossible.
You think he's uploading stuff live?
He's quote tweeting stuff that's occurred within.
Maybe
minutes or
he's
hours.
violating his own rule.
He must be, like, because he's too responsive
Right.
online. Like, you can't schedule a quote
the
tweet
game's
from
up,
something.
Anton.
It is.
Fuck you.
It is possible. He does have a media team, so it is possible that they're doing that, because he has a guy who manages all of his YouTube.
It is unequivocally in his tone.
Okay, we've rumbled him.
Yeah. But then, I don't know, like, it seems to me, especially, like, there's that quote, no one is ever too busy to tell you how busy they are. It's like, no one is ever, so few people are too digitally minimal to not care about being on Twitter. Like, Naval Ravikant, like, bro, you are, without a doubt, one of the biggest dicks that I've ever seen in my life. Spend a lot of time on Twitter still, though, don't you?
So Twitter just doesn't interest me at all.
Me neither. And what George McGill,
A lot
who'll
of
be,
dick swinging.
yeah, George McGill, who'll be listening, is he's leveraging off this, right? Like, he's leveraging off this hyper aphorism, like 360 character life fucking advice stuff that's going on. And, like, for the people that like to consume that, then cool. But I've got a couple of problems with it. First one is there's no context. And it's like, fucking, why does an inspirational quote not change your life? And it's like, well, because time under tension, like, because it matters. And then the other thing is the dick measuring thing, or the dick swinging thing, like, it just becomes, everything's so pithy And it's like, you can just tweet stuff that doesn't have to be like change.
Why I'm better than you, and this is
change your world, and mate, like Twitter was. Well, I mean, it's an innovative way to use a platform.
I just far rather like listen to those people in a long form podcast, or like buy their book, or like you were saying the other day that books are the value you get from a book for like £5, £7.
It's absolutely incredible. It's a person's life work, and they've spent years editing and writing it out and formulating their ideas.
They should be like £100.
And then you read a tweet that's just been bashed out, or like it's so
gets read by 25,000 people.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And the thing I suppose that you don't. That certainly before we started using these things for business that you don't see as a user is that the way the platforms work is it encourages a race to the bottom with clickbait.
Yeah.
For people to get seen on the feed.
So Tristan Harris was saying how the emotion of outrage is algorithmically the most successful thing for.
So there's the second, the only thing which comes second to it is like hyper agreement.
Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So you end up either with things which superbly support your view,
which is why
or violate them.
So like the anti-vaxxer groups become these crazy circle jerks of like, you know, someone posted. I think I might have sent you guys a screenshot. Someone said, "Oh, like I've been diagnosed with sepsis and like I'm critically ill. What should I do? I don't want to take antibiotics." And someone was commenting being like, "Oh yeah, just take high dose vitamin C and you'll be." It's like that is fatal advice that you keep giving. But because you're in this
killed your friend.
Yeah, but because you're in this echo chamber of like, oh yeah, screw antibiotics, that's just big pharma trying. It's so you end up with these like pockets of people that are just hyper agreeing with each other, and it becomes.
There was something of a woman. Did you send it to me?
With the kids,
a woman whose kid had a meningitis or something.
Yeah,
I didn't get him vaccinated, and he's got the disease.
What do I do?
Yeah, fuck off.
It's like.
So don't build up this argument and then backtrack.
The doctor I was working with yesterday said that she was on a plane and someone had basically a sudden onset severe pain in the like lower chest, upper stomach area, which could be a number of things that are obviously quite dangerous and severe. She went over to attend to the patient, and she felt this person just like standing behind her, and she was like, "No, You need to get some chilies. He needs to get some chilies for it." And she was like, "I'm sorry, what?" She's like, "I'm a herbalist. He needs chilies because..." She was like, "Okay, this guy's got a bleed in his stomach potentially, and you want to give him chilies. Also, we're on a plane. Like, where do you expect? Like, do you want to go to the kitchen and ask for some chilies? Like, go away. Like, I appreciate you wanting to help, but so."
Brian Cox said that in his presentation. Someone said like, I can't remember the question. It was something like, "Do you think there's a downside to science or something?" And he went, "Yeah, I mean, if you misinterpret things, and for example, you think vaccines are bad or something like that, then yes, that is bad." But I just thought like the way that he just not even giving it time of day. Like it's not even.
Have you listened to him?
Be careful.
Have you listened to him on Joe Rogan?
No, I want to.
Man, he is. I'd forgotten how much of a motherfucker he is, and you don't, because you presume that like fucking Carlo Rovelli or some of these more kind of backroom physicists, and like you discredit Neil deGrasse Tyson just because of how like prolific he is. Mm-hmm. You presume like you think Bear Grylls isn't hard. You're like, no, Bear Grylls would fuck you up.
Yeah,
like
because he's so mainstream.
Yeah, and you forget like that's the equivalent of being the best in your field. The equivalent of being the cream of the crop. And yeah, maybe like if you niche down into one area of Bear's like survivalism, he might not be as good, or fucking hut building, he might not be as good as this guy, or, you know, particle physics or like whatever, like astrobiology. What's his face might not be quite so good. But like, if you want to take a fucking broad spectrum view, he's got like, it's a cosmic sized schlong, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing that was mental about it was it's Friday night, and there's a stadium, or not stadium, an arena full of people listening to a physicist explain space-time. And like, as I was leaving, so like I'm sat, there's a moment where I realised like, this is not going to be a relaxing night, like 2 hours. And you go from this to like, right, better pay attention here, like fucking hell, like this is not
roller coaster on.
And it's lovely that still exists on a large scale, and it's not become a kind of fringe.
It's just bizarre. I look around and you think, all these people are here to listen to
sold out
explain space-time, and like I find that really interesting, but I can't believe that I'm
That there's enough of you.
the majority. And then as you're leaving, you hear people go, "Well, I didn't understand any of that," but they're still like, "Wow,
They're
it's
still
good job."
trying.
Yeah.
What the
So
fuck is
I
going?
think the Brian Cox thing makes a little bit more sense to me than the Peterson, Sam Harris, Eric Weinstein thing. So like, how many people were there? 10,000? 20,000?
No, well, I don't know.
5,000?
I don't know. I feel like you're the sort of person that.
Well, yeah,
knows
but I can't.
capacity
I don't know how
for
many.
things.
I don't know how many stands were open. I don't know how far he'd taken the.
Yeah, if
thing.
there's anyone I trust to look at a crowd of people and be
I
like,
could tell you. I could tell you, but I don't know how much. So
So
anyway,
it was a little way off the end, and there was seating all the way up and in the centre.
right. So was he at the very, very end of the Metro Radio Arena?
No,
Right, halfway.
a little bit past halfway, I'd say.
Right. Okay. So that'll be
2/3.
okay. So that'll be probably the same as they had for Cirque du Soleil, which will be like.
oh, which you got pulled up onto the stage
I
for.
got made to go up on stage and dressed up as a woman, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, in front of a few thousand people. So I reckon there's maybe, let's say that there's 5,000 people at his show. Might be more, might actually be closer.
We'll
to
pay
10.
50 quid.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's crazy. But when me and George went to go see Jordan Peterson, like, I get Brian Cox just a little bit more.
Well, he's on TV.
He's been on
constantly.
mainstream. He's been on mainstream TV. There's a big audio visual element to it. Like it's a glorified
fucking cool.
roller
Yeah,
coaster.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson was him
Just him and his,
and
big
his
hands.
massive fucking spindly fingers just talking about archetypes and cooling everyone in the crowd with his fan hands.
And how many people were there?
3,000, between 2,000 and 3,000.
and all eagerly wanting to
Have
speak
you heard
to
Jordan
him.
Peterson break down his income?
No. Where is it? Is it on YouTube?
So there's a video where he gets interviewed by a French reporter.
Oh
Have
yeah,
you seen that? And the
he's
French
a bit
reporter.
of a dick actually.
Yeah,
the reporter.
yeah. Well,
Trying to trigger him a little bit.
yeah. So the French reporter asks him to expose his finances.
You're like, okay,
I will.
sure.
He's got a pretty big business for what I assume is like him and maybe one or two other people.
Well,
helping him.
future author and suite and Understand
So I think
Myself.
he's basically making $1 million a year off Patreon.
Yeah. Well, not
I don't know,
anymore.
not anymore, but at the time of the video he was.
Yeah.
And then like he went through book sales and events and stuff like that.
Terrifying.
It's big numbers, like much bigger than I was expecting.
So the funny thing about that, and Joe Rogan alludes to it all the time, is that he says like the left fucked with the wrong person. Like if you were going to pick someone to not fuck with, it would be Jordan Peterson. Like, okay, we're going to just like poke this frog and see what happens.
They picked the venomous one, didn't they?
And you're like, oh my god,
Spitting
this
venom.
frog's turned into probably, what's he worth now? Maybe like 10, 20 mil? Probably more.
Oh, see, and it wouldn't have happened unless the initial.
Oh, it was,
like,
well, yeah.
set of
And you're
events
like,
that-
oh my god. And you're just watching him grow into this huge fucking towering monster.
horns
It's grown
and- yeah.
fangs and he can fly. This leviathan comes out over the top of you.
Fire
He's got
breathing.
these huge
Proper
fingers,
Charizard,
these
shiny.
spindly fucking fingers, and he's waving them around. And you're like, oh my god, now he's rich. Oh shit, now he's left Patreon. And you're like, when he starts up his own version of
left Patreon
Subscribe,
because his dick's too big. And
Yeah.
it's just like
When he-
and there's
when he-
Kermit
when-
on his shoulder.
him and Sam Harris are going to start up their own version of Subscribe Star or Patreon. Like, when that happens, they're going to be taking a percentage of everyone that moves over there, and everyone fucking loves them.
So this is something
Bloody
that
hell.
Garrett White, who I imagine will not have been on yet.
He will have probably
He will have been.
Oh, maybe.
So something that he spoke about with regards to like trying to get a message to people. It's like people try and do charity events and things like that, but like what really makes a difference is the bloke with 10 million quid. and like you just can't argue with that because like you can do whatever you want and like
Until you
pack
get 10 million.
bags at Morrison's, but if there's a bloke with 10 million quid who wants to get a message out, he's going to win every single day. And so as Jordan Peterson progressively gets richer, it's going to be harder and harder
to shut him up.
to
If he
fight
starts
against it.
putting paid traffic behind stuff, it's
Or just the
God.
stuff he can do, like
Can you imagine if Jordan starts using ClickFunnels?
just
Frog's
pulls
gonna
the
start-
big red lever with Russell Brunson going like, God help us all.
Okay.
But he loves a fight, doesn't he? So like in that interview with the French reporter, like the French reporter gives him a bit of shit and he just shuts him down. And you just think,
don't poke the bear.
Yeah.
So he says this really interesting thing. I think it was on Joe Rogan again as well, where he was talking about how he's happy to have the fight, but his natural proclivity isn't to that, and he says it takes him a couple of days to recover. So he spoke specifically about the GQ interview with the woman, which was like Kathy Newman got sent away, trained for a while, like came back with a 220 deadlift, and like she had notes with her, and they didn't give him a microphone. It's for GQ.
Microaggression.
She just didn't realise that it was like Yuri Belkin meets Tom Martin.
Yeah. It was UFC 1 all over again.
Right.
And so he had that, and he's referring to that, and he goes, it took me like 2 days to kind of recover from that, because and you are right, like he's able to keep his cool to a degree that like I've never ever seen anyone, like even Sam Harris lost his shit. Like he does it all.
Just been very conscious of the fact that he lost his shit. Right?
Yeah, he'll watch himself. Have you heard the story? I'm just segueing massively here, but have you heard the story about when Sam Harris ended up getting like 2 articles came out about him at the same time? It was like 2 hit pieces. He was on holiday in Hawaii.
No.
Oh, and he was with his family.
Yeah, he was with his family, and he just torpedoes his own holiday. Completely torpedo. So he'd had this exchange.
Watching himself torpedo his own holiday.
He'd had this exchange back and forth with Ezra Klein from Vox, and he'd had this thing. And
I
then
remember him tearing apart Ezra Klein on the podcast later.
with them. So they sat down and had this podcast. Head to head, and he's like, Ezra, like, please, in the interests of everybody's sanity that's listening, and blah, like the way he goes on. And but basically his idea was, I'm on holiday, this has really annoyed me, fuck, what do I do? I also, like, my wife's here, like, so I'm going to get in the doghouse if I keep on doing this, which is nice to know that Sam Harris still, like, has to suffer with stuff like that.
Being in the doghouse.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's Sam fucking Harris.
Mundane
Like,
stuff.
Yeah.
but
Can't meditate without that, can you, mate?
Sitting on the sofa.
not enough mindfulness, to get yourself off the fucking sofa tonight. So yeah, and he's saying that his solution was to just publish the email exchange. So they'd have this big email exchange, big long one, just like scroll, screenshot, scroll, screenshot, scroll, screenshot, like just went up there and just published out, but didn't really like double check how it looked. And because there wasn't any context behind that, that made him look even worse. And then he just like tweet, phone down, face down, like on the table, came back to it a couple of hours later, and like all hell had broken loose. And you're like, fuck. It's just it's nice to know that people, like, everyone has to deal with it.
Mr. Mindful.
It's so weird
It's
that you
still
can
it.
set all hell going loose just by like typing something on your phone.
And also, all hell hasn't broken loose. It's just different things happening on a screen.
Yeah, true. If you take a very sensory view of it, it's like it's all just
Listen,
fine.
Sam, like,
So was that your
digital minimalism.
Digital minimalism.
Yeah.
Mine is an app called. So you guys are gonna hate this, but it's called Spotify. So even VXD is shaking his head.
Do you need a cushion?
I think I'm just going to have to go.
So guys, what Spotify does is if you have it's even set off Johnny's tile. If you have Spotify free and you hate the really intrusive, quite loud adverts, like the volume on
Do you mean their earning?
their earning potential.
Yeah.
Chris has like had to reluctantly write it in the thing. So normally it's music, and then it's like, hey, welcome to my, and then it's back to the music again. You're like, that's just blowing my head off. What Spotify does is it just detects when an advert's coming and just mutes Spotify for 30 seconds.
So it doesn't speed up the way that you play the music.
It just gives you 30 seconds.
It doesn't
of silence.
allow you to play songs within playlists without it being on random.
No, you can. So on the desktop version. So this Spotify is a desktop app. You get full function Spotify apart from being able to play at the same time on multiple devices, and you can't.
We can cut it out.
Okay,
The
so
adverts are silent.
I think that I'll do one more, and then we'll do a quick fire round. Cool.
Okay, thanks for finding a quick fire.
There's no iPhone equivalent.
No,
So you're not listening to Spotify on your iPhone?
I don't really use it on phone.
Would you listen to in the gym?
Podcasts or just my own music.
Do you not?
Sometimes.
you used to going like, I'm a little teapot.
But sure.
So Philips Sunrise lamp,
Banger.
absolute fucking game changer. So especially if you are from the UK and you don't get an awful lot of sunlight, you'll know that seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a real thing. Like I definitely feel better in the summer and worse in the winter.
Yeah.
One of the reasons for that is your natural circadian rhythm gets thrown off due to melatonin production. That is dictated by the amount of light exposure that you get. A solution to that are these like indoor sun lamps that you can get that are measured in lumens, and they match the particular tone of sunlight outside, and you expose yourself to it for a particular amount of time. Sunrise lamps aren't bright enough. Even this one, which is like the biggest dick one that you can get, it's not bright enough for that to make a real difference. But for me, it's enough to kind of make me think that it's going to help. So the main thing is it's the same as a radio alarm clock that you would have normally, but it's got a bright as fuck light, which is a similar hue to what you will get on daylight that comes on before the sound goes off. So it means that you are able to wake up due to light as opposed to due to sound. It then also can fire out like nature sounds or whatever it is at the end of it. But for me, like, it's the same as people that don't work in Pomodoros. Like if you're waking up to sound now, I'm like, what is this? Like the fucking 1800s. Oh yeah, mate. Why don't you just like go and get someone to ring a bell at the local church tower outside of your window?
Yeah.
Like, so you set it away for a particular time and it will slowly begin to increase the intensity of the light over a half an hour period before you wake up. And what that'll also do is play around with your cortisol level on a morning and also your melatonin release in an effort to ready your body to be awake. As opposed to sometimes, especially if you're not using like Sleep Cycle, which will use your sleep waves to then also try and time things in. If you're not using either of these, you're potentially in the middle of deep sleep and just getting like wrenched out of it, which is not a nice feeling. There'll be some days when you will wake up and you'll be like, oh my God, like if you feel drunk, but you try and wake up. Whereas
it's agonizing sometimes, like
the pain that you get upon waking, you're like,
I think it's hard to turn that around as well. Like, I don't think I ever have like a productive morning or day if I've woken up feeling like that.
Shit. Yeah. So Philips sunrise lamp. There's a number of other settings that you can use for it. It's got a sunset setting, which is quite nice. So again, when you go to bed, you can press 10 minutes and it will go down from its current brightness to 0. It's got a couple of other things as well where it's got a very, very low light way of displaying the time at night. And I know this sounds so like finicky, but you don't realize just how much light like a normal LCD clock will actually give off.
So
like if it's a fucking red one, like, you know, one of those, like your mum and dad will have one and you're like, this is brighter than it is during the day. Like if it's all red, you feel like you're in a Tom Clancy movie. And then someone's gonna like Rainbow Six your door in and like come in with a fucking laser gun. That's what it's like. So yeah, that's really low. I've now taken this to another level of anal and have got a second sunrise lamp of a different brand over the far side of the room.
Nice.
Reason for that is that my New Year's resolution is no phone in my bedroom. You're an idiot if you just have, it's like an asymmetric risk if you only have one alarm clock. I needed a second alarm clock, but I couldn't use my phone. I also couldn't use one, which...
So you've literally bought another alarm clock.
But the thing is as well, I couldn't buy another Philips sunrise lamp because if the power goes off, then I'm fucked still. So what I've got is, and it's only about 30 quid. It's if you don't have 120 quid to spend on a Philips sunrise lamp, this will be a moderately adequate alternative. It's just a cheaper version of it. But the crucial thing this has is you put 3 AAA batteries in, and if the power gets killed,
so
it'll kick in on that.
That's cool.
So I'm like,
it's got a backup power source.
I've got a backup thing, which I mean, like, the other thing as well is like, I wake up at the time when I tell myself to wake up. Like, the only thing that I'll miss, like, if the power went off in the house, all that would happen is miss my morning routine. Like, it's very rare that I have to get up for anything other than my desire to wake up.
The best insurance against that is to just wake up at the same time every day. Because eventually, like, now I wake up pretty much every day before any alarm goes off.
And you get predictably tired at the same time.
Yeah. I dream for the day when that's going to be the case, but for me, that's not happening.
So, we're now doing quickfire.
Quickfire rounds.
So mine feeds off that, which is...
Nice.
I'm on second stint of no caffeine, but now I think I'm just going to make it permanent.
Really?
Bloody
hell.
I'll explain. So the first time I did it was a 30-day challenge. My girlfriend said, I bet you can't go for 30 days without coffee. I said, fuck you, yes I can. So I went for 30 days.
I see the day.
without coffee at all. So that included decaf coffee. I just really like coffee, so I found that very difficult. Tried lots of different teas. Nothing was that great. This time, so then slowly slipped back into, you start with one coffee a day, you're like, oh, let's have another one. And you're back to 4 coffees a day, you're like, back to where I started. So, the start of this year, I was like, 1st of January, new year, new me, I'll just stop having coffee, see what happens. Stop having caffeine. So I've had caffeine on 3 occasions. All of them have been pre-workout, and on all those sessions I've hit a big PB. So I think like...
Very large PB as well.
Yeah, so for the first time ever, I think, apart from like maybe the first pre-workout I ever had, I'm experiencing the performance-enhancing benefits of caffeine.
Okay.
And on a daily basis...
Can you talk through the PBs? Because I think...
Okay, so the way it happened was I was going to train slightly later than normal. It's a big squat session. Thought I'm feeling a bit tired. I'll have a coffee, so I had an espresso, single espresso. Got into training, squat 200 goes down, 200 fires back up again, and I was like, what the fuck just happened there? Like that, wasn't expecting it. 200 on the bar, same thing happened. 230, same thing. 240 was like the same speed 220 would normally be. I was like, okay. 220 back on the bar. I was meant to do a set of 5, did 4, and I thought I'm just going to hit a PB here. So 220 for 6 was a PB. Hit 7, probably had another 2 or 3 in the tank. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I was like, it'll be a one-off. A couple of days go by, same thing happens with bench. It's like, right, caffeine again, same thing. Deadlift, same thing. I was like, okay. Caffeine's a very powerful thing. So on a daily basis now, I'll just have decaf coffee, and I honestly don't notice any change.
What decaf coffee are you drinking?
So quite particular with this. So Oozburn coffee, if you live in, you probably get it anywhere, I suppose. But their decaf coffee is genuinely nice, as is the stuff you can buy in a Starbucks. So Starbucks decaf coffee.
So you're not making anything at home?
Yeah. I grind the beans, make it with an AeroPress.
Oozburn Coffee Company. What is it? Just normal decaf?
Just the beans. So I've got a big kilo bag of the beans. It's
Did they only do one?
Just a cup of beans.
Just a cup of beans.
Cup of beans. Scoop.
They just do
scoop.
yeah, they've got like 12 caffeinated variations and then decaf.
One. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I was wondering.
Yeah,
what to do.
I think that's the same with most brands.
Scoop the beans.
For to scoop the beans.
Right. Okay.
So decaf coffee. At the same time, I've also gone sober, but that's
another conversation.
Time.
So yeah, but that was your influence.
I'm amazed that you. So are you still going to have it pre-training?
I think I'll probably use it strategically for big sessions or like competitions and stuff like that.
How did you sleep post coffee?
So that was what I was leading on from that. Like for me, I realized only realized after giving coffee up that consistent wake times are really difficult with caffeine because you don't. So to be clear, like I was the person telling you stuff who was pathetic.
Perfect avatar
for not having caffeine, and always used to think that it wasn't making any difference, but you don't realise how much of a difference it's making until you remove it.
It's so annoying. I really wish it didn't last that long. I wish there was a naloxone for caffeine, like an antidote to just
get rid of it,
neuter it.
Yeah,
I've found my caffeine usage tends to be once a day. First thing in the morning, mostly because I like it, and also I do feel like I need that kick. I also train in the morning as well, but I genuinely, like on a nighttime now, like my eyes are drooping.
That's what you want.
And I think podcast I did with Dr. Greg Potter, his advice, and he fucking knows what he's talking about. If you have 9 hours before, like that should be your bottom end of where you're prepared to take it. I mean, I'm sure that there will still be some sort of effects downstream if you have one at 6 a.m. and you go to bed at 9 p.m. at night. But I'm going to hope that you'll probably be able to mitigate most of the...
It's always just dose dependent, I think, as well.
Like if you have like...
Yeah, I mean, I definitely... And I think the standard office work is having a lot of caffeine.
Anyone who's having caffeine after 5 p.m, like Darren, will go out for dinner.
Yeah.
And then Darren will have a coffee.
People have it after a restaurant meal. It completely boggles me.
So Ben has a theory that he will do that and doesn't feel anything, doesn't affect his sleep, and isn't that asked about coffee? And he thinks that his girlfriend is like me, loves coffee and couldn't get to sleep. So he thinks there's just people who are really responsive, people who aren't responsive. But my response is that that's still having an impact.
But there's people who say subjectively, I don't feel like there's much difference. But you also don't feel the percentage of REM sleep that you're getting compared to NREM.
Yeah.
So he might be able to get to sleep, and so he doesn't feel like from his mind, there's no.
You don't necessarily feel dietary fat or sugar or protein, but it's still there.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it was only when I started drinking coffee that I started to fall asleep during. So like I reintroduced it last year. I had it just a couple, and I started falling asleep during the day. And I never fall asleep during the day normally, and it was just because the knock-on effect of the reduced sleep quality that night
cascaded down.
Yeah,
especially this time of year. So you're maybe linked to your video about vitamin D and caffeine when there's no sunlight and how that can become a negative spiral. I think just try it, I suppose. If you drink a lot of coffee, the first week is hellish.
Well, if you do Johnny's decaffeine protocol, which is on our Instagram, have a look. Then
that is how to just make it
seamless.
You don't even notice it's happening. Yeah,
it is.
Or you can rip the band-aid off and go Navy SEAL mode.
So speaking of semenless, I am
no fap.
My life hack is cut a tennis ball in half.
Christ.
And I was just joking about no fap, but if you have a door that often hits the wall, makes a hole in the plaster, cut a tennis ball in half, super glue it to the wall. Looks like a nice little abstract bit of art on your wall, so that's one good thing. And also, the door will bounce off the tennis ball and
doorstop.
You can install a doorstop, but like the heavy brass things that you stick in the floor.
No, I was thinking more like
a wedge.
Well, just any doorstop that's built for that.
Because are you not going to remove the paint on your wall?
This is for my front door, so I
just think that there will be a lot of people who are very particular about how they've decorated the house.
Mm-hmm. It's always a conversation piece. Oh, that looks funny there. Oh, I get it. That's so clever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm
my
given the
house is
choice.
A little bit zany.
It is given the choice between hole in the wall and half tennis ball on the wall.
That's what it was. So I covered up an existing hole in the wall as well.
Oh right. Well, I mean, no brainer.
Yeah. I just thought
fine
for the scoop the beans with.
For the scoop the beans with.
Can we link that clip?
Video man Dean will make it work.
Can we have it here, Dean?
Foot to scoop the beans with?
Dean's like, oh, guys, man.
What do you want me to do? Just leave it on the step.
All right.
Right. Can't sell any petrol.
The new Alan Partridge is coming out soon, and we're all very excited, aren't we?
God.
Okay, so
exciting.
My final one is, as a gentleman, treat yourself with a sit-down wee.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I think it's an underused.
Are you not worried about your winky touching the toilet itself?
Inside of the bowl? Especially on my toilet. I know that my toilet's very clean.
Very hot.
It gets hot cleansed every time you flush it.
The previous owners of this house, when they had the downstairs toilet fitted, they plumbed the cistern of the downstairs toilet into the hot water, not into the cold. And it gets pretty clean.
Steamy in the winter.
Yeah, there is steam coming.
I think it'd probably be quite nice, actually.
It's pretty nice, pretty warm.
Very
Does it
wasteful.
affect your Does it affect your bills? I suppose you don't know, do you?
Fuck knows.
You've never not had it, so
Yeah, I don't know. I don't flush that much. It's a small. Do you know what I mean? It's like a small amount of water. But yeah, sit down wee. Like, especially, I guess as a girl, like if you're having a stand up wee,
have a sit down poo.
you're not having a stand up poo, i.e. definitely.
tried.
I've seen a guy take a stand-up poo.
Can you
A stand up poo?
Yeah, he's
in full extension?
He's mental. He's got two really large testicles because he always gets them out.
Is it that guy that calls it the brain?
No, but
Right.
I had a party at my house, and when I left my room, he slipped into my bed naked and was like, "Oh mate, you get me a can of Coke?" I'm like, no, get out of my bed and stop being naked. And he is just always like
doing
he's
stuff.
a bit of an exhibitionist. Yeah, like there was a house viewing and like students coming in to view his house, and he was sat in his room masturbating. I think knowingly. Like I mean, this is quite makes him sound like a real offender. Yeah. Anyway,
So publicly masturbating and he had a stand up poo.
yeah, you have the stand up poo. That was what it was.
Yeah. So
Walking
sit down,
outside.
wait. Especially as well. Like if you wake up, I don't know whether you guys get this going on from the sleep thing. When you wake up at like 5 a.m. or like
Erections.
4 a.m. No, 5 a.m. or 4 a.m.
Dean was thinking it.
Stop thinking about erections. Bloody hell. 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. and you don't want to
Show your erection.
allow yourself to pass the upper threshold of wakefulness, because if you start to like deploy too much cognitive power to move around, so you like kid yourself and you're like,
like slop on the toilet.
Yeah.
This is 100% the top benefit of sit down wheeze.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, because you can just sit and you're like, at least it's going in.
You can sit head in hands or rest on your knees.
Yeah. Not everyone's got the mobility that you do, man.
The life problems.
It's such a sad image.
Sit head in hands and contemplate your own mortality while you're having a sit down.
Arab, head in hands, just having a wee.
With a completely
Done it again.
Stop it!
Setting off his
Stop
tile.
it! With a
With
completely
your shut
hairless arsehole.
Yeah.
Oh, someone piped up. Actually, we've got to finish off. We've got a one that was submitted in the comments. Called me and Daniel Sloss amateurs for saying that we have to work ourselves up to shave our arseholes, and said, "Boys, yous are absolute amateurs. Veet sensitive."
Really?
Like just Veet the full thing, washes off.
So
I thought it was going to go down the route of like just go straight in.
With what?
Well, you were saying, he was implying, you said you have to work yourself up to it.
Work yourself up to like the bravery to put a shaver down there.
Yeah, I'm saying so. I thought he was going to say, like, I just hack around.
Yeah.
okay. So I suppose the thing with using Veet, like a hair removal cream versus
But it's
waxing.
estrogen.
No, it's
Everything's got estrogen in, doesn't it?
I'm sure it does. It's just one is the temporary solution, whereas waxing is like permanently weakening the follicles until eventually you don't have to shave.
What is going on? What is that? Why is it so loud?
It's tile.
I think this is a life fail.
It is a life fail.
Fucking shit.
It's definitely
Who
a
bought
life
you it?
It'll
You
save
didn't buy
you
it for
one day.
yourself.
No, it was a Christmas present.
Was it?
A year and a bit ago.
Was it? Yeah, I knew it was.
Someone's
I
like,
knew
"Oh,
it. See, I knew it was.
Johnny, you like life hacks?
It's the sort of thing I do need, but since then, annoyingly, I've established a very consistent routine with where I put my wallet.
So here's a good point for a little bit of a life fail. I came in once, like I always have the same routine when I come into the kitchen. Bag goes down here, open the door, bag goes down, etc., etc. Everything has its place. It's just idiosyncratic now. Don't think about it. Once came into the living room, lost my keys for half a day. diverted one choice. Came into the living room to say hi to Lewis, and I was like, what the fuck has
Because
happened?
keys are just taken care of by automatic behaviour, and that's derailed. That's it.
Fucked.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget, comment below with your favourite life hacks. We will give you potentially £150 worth from the Protein Works. Thanks to the Protein Works for sponsoring this episode. We will be back very, very soon with an awful lot of different things. Links to everything will be in the show notes below. And also, if there's any referral codes and things like that, we'll try and find them. Any discounts will be in there as well. Share the episodes, like the episode, subscribe. Okay, bye then.
Goodbye then.